I would absolutely have to say that my favorite childhood teacher was my mother. My mother started teaching English when I was a little kid, and when I grew up to be in high school, I had her as a teacher, and she really helped me to foster my love of English. She helped me to learn everything that I needed to learn to be a successful teacher myself.
Was a lady named Louise Moquin. She was my French teacher while I was in junior high school. And she was my favorite because she was warm and friendly and super funny, and because she took an interest in me and my life. And as a result, I have a passion for learning French. So I strive to be that teacher for my students.
My favorite teacher was Ibu Stocker. Ibu is Indonesian for teacher. And she was my favorite teacher because she would associate new vocabulary words with sounds or actions like our TPR. And so for instance, the word for earrings in Indonesian is anting-anting. So I would jiggle my earrings, anting-anting, anting-anting. And to this day, I still remember those words. So, mwah.
My favorite teacher was Mrs. Jones, my first grade teacher. She was energetic, she was kind, and she inspired in me not only my lifelong love of learning, but also my desire to become a teacher.
Was my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Phelan. She always encouraged her students to be the best they could be. And if being the best you could be meant you had to fail along the way, there was nothing wrong with that. It was okay to make a mistake. She always told us that FAIL actually stood for the first attempt in learning. F-A-I-L. Fail. It's okay to fail. So I want to thank her for that, for encouraging us to fail, to make mistakes, and to learn from those mistakes and grow as students and as people. And she's the reason I became a teacher.
I've had some phenomenal teachers over the years, but one that comes to mind as a favorite is my first child development teacher in college, Kimberly. And she was amazing because her passion just spilled out, and she was so excited about her subject. It got me excited, and I decided to study child development for my undergraduate studies. And she's definitely been influential in my life.
Was my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Cynthia Kendrick. She always inspired us to do our best, and she made sure that we understood that differences in the way we learned and the way we did things were a good thing, not something to be ashamed of.
A gifted education teacher named Jan Baer. She was my very favorite teacher because she always used to let us do all sorts of really cool out-of-the-box things, and we got to be very creative in what we did. And we got a lot of self-directed learning, and so she was my very favorite teacher. I did learn a few years ago that she did pass away, but I was lucky enough to visit with her while I was in college, and she guided me on some of my electives, and she was just a really wonderful person.
There was my 9th grade band teacher in the school I went to in Indonesia. His name was Mr. Nicky, and it wasn't band like marching band. It was a rock band with drums, guitars, bass, and singers. And Mr. Nicky taught me how to sing with a live band, how to use a microphone, how to project my voice, and I still use all those skills today.
Was my world history teacher in high school, Larry Jones. I loved Mr. Jones because he not only cared about his students, but he cared about making us better people. He wanted us to not just learn history, but to learn from history about how we can make the world a better place for the future.
My favorite high school teacher, my favorite teacher of all my years, he taught me in Algebra 1 and for part of Algebra 2 in geometry before my family moved. He gave me the best present that any teacher has ever given me. At a student parent-teacher conference, he told my mom these words. He said he wasn't sure if Bethany was any good at math or she just tried really hard. And the thing is, I wasn't any good at math. I just tried really hard. And in that moment, when I heard those words, it broke the chains or the cage of learning for me. And I knew I didn't have to be magically good at anything. I could learn anything if I just tried really hard. And I loved math, and I could try hard, and I did. And I learned math better and in more depth and with more joy than any of my peers who were good at math. I ended up going to college and getting a math degree and becoming a math teacher because one man was honest that I wasn't magically good at something. I worked hard, and he acknowledged that. And for that, I will ever be grateful.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicky.
Thank you, Ibu Stocker, wherever you are today.
And Madame Moquin, if somehow you get a chance to see this video, I just want to say thank you.
So, Mr. Jones, if you're still out there, thank you so much for everything.
So thank you, Mrs. Phelan. Thank you for teaching me and letting me teach across the globe.